everyone. I am Miss Sharon. I'm a librarian here at the Coatesville Area Public Library. This month of February is Black History Month. This is an annual observation to remember the history, the people, and the culture of African Americans, dating back from hundreds of years all the way up to the present day. To help with this, here at the Coatesville Library, I am going to highlight some of the children's books we have here in our collection that are available to you to read. This is a way for you to learn, reflect, and celebrate Black culture and history. Our first book is called This Little Light of Mine by E.B. Lewis. It has the lyrics for the song This Little Light of Mine, along with pictures of a little boy going throughout his day with his family, helping his neighbors, cheering up and playing with his friends. This is a nice introduction to Black music. This Little Light of Mine is believed to have been a song that slaves would sing while they were working in the fields on plantations in the South. This song also came to be identified with the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s. And as demonstrated by this book, it's still very relevant, beloved, bringing people together and giving them courage for whatever they face to not let their light go out. Our second book is Going Someplace Special by Patricia M. McKisack and illustrated by Jerry Pinkney. It's the story of a young girl, Trisha, who for the first time ever is being allowed to make a trip by herself to what she calls someplace special. She's happy and excited for this opportunity, but as she travels along, her happiness changes to frustration and anger as she encounters Jim Crow laws, which are rules that told her where she was allowed to sit on public transportation buses, what benches she could rest on in the public park, what hotels she could not go into, and where she had to enter through the back of the theater to watch a performance. However, Trisha in the end does reach her destination. I won't tell you where she goes to spoil the surprise of the ending, but this is a wonderful story about a girl who, even though things get very tough, thinks she can't find where she needs to go in the end. She has friends who come along to encourage her, and she remembers her grandmother's words about how she is someone special, she is a human being, never quit despite how hard it is, keep on going, and you will reach your journey's end. Our next book is called The Great Migration, Journey to the North by Louise Greenfield. And this book is actually about historical time between 1915 and 1930. Over 50 years after the end of slavery, many blacks who lived in the southern states continued to not be able to find work, did very bad work in the field still, did not have good living conditions, and faced violence against them that did not make it safe for them to live in the South. So during this time, millions of Americans actually moved up to the northern states where there was better work, better living, and just more opportunity for them. So frequently, young people on their own would go up. Families would also go up, often with the father leaving first and eventually sending back to send his family up with him. Interestingly, the author and illustrator of this book, both of their families were part of the Great Migration, and they moved up into Washington, D.C. I love this book because it teaches about a time in history that I was not familiar with. I think a lot of us knew about the Underground Railroad when slaves fled up north for freedom, and this is another similar event. when African Americans were seeking for a better place for themselves. And the illustrations on here are very beautiful, being a blend of watercolor and collage. Our final book I'd like to share with you today is called Crown, an Ode to the Fresh Cut by Derek Barnes. And it's about a little boy who goes to a barber shop to get a new haircut. And he gets the royal treatment, and by the end, he feels dashing, he can do anything, and the girl in the next class will like him. And this is a beautiful book with wonderful illustrations. It features many different kinds of haircuts that men of color have, and shows that from an ECU to a judge, all kinds of people have many different jobs, and this is a lovely book that celebrates Black identity and beauty. To conclude this video for picture books, I want to highlight a specific illustrator named Brian Pinkney. He grew up in a family of various authors and illustrators, and so we have here several books by him that I highly recommend that you come and check out. And seriously, please come, we have so many books for you. This concludes our first video of books here in our children's collection for Black History Month. I'll see you next time, and we'll talk about non-fiction books. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you again.